Hello and welcome. Today on the bench we have a faulty PlayStation 5 with no power. This is the very first launch model. As you can see, we're getting no power and no beeps at all. I'll skip the strip down and go straight to the board. Right, we've now got the PlayStation fully stripped down to the board. At first glance, I can't see any physical damage or burnt components. This is the EDM 010 motherboard. Let's move this out of the way and hook it up to the bench power supply. I'll be using a thermal camera to check for any faulty components, like capacitors or IC chips. I've already tested the power supply and we're getting a solid 12 volts, which is a good sign. Any faulty components should show up on the board. I'm using a thermal camera to look for any bright or hot chips. A thermal camera can save a lot of time when fault finding. It doesn't always find the issue, but it's much quicker than probing around with a multimeter. If the camera doesn't pick anything up, that would be the next step. I've seen all sorts of random capacitors fail on these PlayStation 5 boards. And there it is, the bad capacitor causing the power fault. As you can see, these are tiny parts. I have to squint just to see them. Okay, time to replace this little guy and hopefully fix the problem. Under the microscope it suddenly looks huge. I'll give it a quick blast with my Quick 861DW hot air rework station to remove the old capacitor and then solder the new one back in. I don't bother with flux when removing the old capacitor, though it can make things a bit easier. I only use flux once the new capacitor is attached. It helps it stick properly to the board. After that, I give it a quick clean to wipe away any leftover flux. And there we have the new capacitor in place. Time for a quick power test, and if all looks good, we'll reassemble everything and do a full system test. The PlayStation takes a few seconds for the power to kick in, and there we have it. It's alive again. It's always a great feeling to see our efforts pay off and the console powering on. Now let's give it a clean and get it all put back together. I'll flip it over as we need to remove 2 screws to free up the power supply so it can be cleaned. Now the power supply can come out. When dust builds up around these vents, it can lead to random shutdowns while you're playing. That's the console's protection kicking in, no warning, it just shuts off. If a fan has failed, or airflow is blocked by dust, you'll usually see a system too hot message instead. Next, I'll give the case a quick clean and wipe down. I'm using isopropyl alcohol to clean out the inside of the case. Next up is the heatsink. I'll use a hard brush to free up the dust, then finish it off by blowing everything away with an air blower. As you can see, it does a great job of blowing dust straight through the heatsink grills. Dust might not look like much, but inside a PlayStation 5 it can cause all sorts of problems. It blocks airflow, traps heat, and forces the fan to work harder than it should. That leads to higher temperatures, random shutdowns, and noisy fans. Regular cleaning and servicing keep everything running cooler and quieter, and help the console last a lot longer. A bit of preventative maintenance now can save a lot of hassle later. Now that the repair and cleaning are done, we can reassemble the PlayStation and move on to final testing. This cable is for the front LED light, this one is for the power button, and this cable connects to the front USB ports. These cables hook up the Wi-Fi antenna and Bluetooth module. If they're not properly connected, your signal will be weak, and your controller might lose connection. Let's get the antenna cable secured. I'm using a standard sticker, any will do, just cutting it into strips so we can tape the cable down nicely and keep it tidy. Time to pop those screws back in nice and quick, and then one last blast with the air blower to finish it off. Here we have the Blu-ray cable. If it's not connected properly, the console will fail to update. With all the cables hooked up and everything looking neat, I would recommend double checking that nothing's loose. Once that's done, let's pop the case back on. Time to give that fan a proper clean. I've sped things up here, dust builds up quickly and it can make the console run hotter and louder. I'm using a soft brush and an air blower to clear out all the dust, and I'm making sure the fan spins freely once I'm done. Nothing trapped in there, nothing rubbing. It's great to see the console looking clean again. It's not just about looks, it actually helps it run smoother and quieter. Plus it's a satisfying little win when I can hand it back to the customer looking almost like new. To finish up, I'm using a soft cloth with a small amount of isopropyl alcohol to get right into the fan and remove any remaining dust. It just takes it over the line. With the fan cleaned up, I'll reconnect the fan plug, put the fan cover back on, and tighten down the 4 screws. Now I'll get the cover on, just a gentle tap and it clips back into place nicely. Let's give it a quick spray of polish and a nice wipe down, just to remove any marks and get it looking fresh again. Alright, everything's back together and looking good. It's time for the moment of truth. Let's power this on and run some final tests to see if our work has paid off. I'll be keeping an eye on the lights, listening for the fan, and making sure everything behaves exactly as it should. That's always a good sign. We've got a beep and power. Now I'll check the front USB with the controller. Yes, that's connecting fine. I can't hear any clicking from the fan, so that's running smoothly. And we've got a signal. Everything looks good. So what are your thoughts on the PlayStation 5? Leave a comment below, I'd love to see them. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.